Hi guys, continue solving our task and let's check what we have for today. Okay, with distant values. Okay, and before being passed to your function, it was rotated unknown pivot index k such that the resulting array is, for example, might be rotated at pi by 5 and become like this. So we have some array and it was rotated. So we are given an array nums, and after rotation and an integer target return true if target is in nums, or false if it's not in nums. You must decrease the overall operation steps as much as possible. So for example, here we have target 0, so we return true. Here we have target 3 and we should return false. Yep, so the obvious thing here, especially if we have just length 5000, it would be just go in one line and check. But if it's rotated, and here also we can contain duplicates, would this affect the runtime complexity? How and why? So duplication, actually it's a problem because we can have like two pointers and these duplicates can point to each other, and this means that we need to decrease these duplications here. This means that we should decrease this duplication here. Okay. Two, 5, 6, 0, 0, 1, 2. Yeah, with duplicates it becomes harder because, for example, let's take some example here. Okay, or something like this. So if we have an array with such elements, and then, for example, we take 0, and we can check if 0 is in 2, and here if it's greater than 0. Yeah, so we should check if we are moving to the right or to the left. So here it's 0, so it's very simple. And what if we have something like this, and we are looking for 3? So we first check here, then we check that 3 is not in this range, so we go to this 0, then we take 5, so 2 and 5. Yeah, so actually 2 and 5, it should be in this range. So we go here, and then we couldn't find. But what if we have, for example, a lot of zeros? Yeah, I think the duplication should not actually affect. I think it should not actually affect our implementation. So let's evaluate. I think this is pretty good. We can reuse this previous implementations that we have. So let's try. Let's try to copy it and to check whether it works. For these two cases, it should actually work. So yeah, here we should return true, and here also return true. return true. Yeah, and here we should return if it's equal to target. Then we return true, and here we return false. Yeah, so for this it works. But we have some test cases like this where it doesn't work. So for example, we have 1 and 1, and then we don't know actually where we should go, because here we have all ones. Here we have all ones here. Right, so so let's check. What else we can do? Yeah, especially with this test case, it's hard. It's hard because we don't know where should we go. And I think that we probably should go always left. No, not always left. Because this 0 can be on left, on right. And I think in this case we should call probably this search function 2 times. So, for example, if nums I is equal to nums j, yeah, probably what we can do, we can move this function into the separate function. And here we have our nums, here we have target, here we have I and j. First of all, we can just move out this function from here, and we can just call return bs nums target I and j. This is the first case. Other case, if nums I is equal to nums j, it means that we actually couldn't go anywhere here. Like we should calculate two BS functions with nums and target, and then we have I would be equal to m plus 1, and j, and also if or bs nums target I and m plus 1 or m minus 1, then we should return true. I think that also this use case we should cover, and we return boolean here, and we should use this test case. Yeah, so we see that it works, and here we have array out of bound, and index -1 out of bound of length. So what we can check here, if yeah, we can even check here, I think, like if I is less than 0, or like we decrement j, right? So j is less than 0, or I is greater than num's length, we just return false. We can check this use case. Yeah, and we are done. So actually we have this operation with 2 recursive calls, and after this operation it starts working fine. Great. So that's it for today. Thank you.